Well, welcome back to another edition of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse. Road story time. This was a request, actually. Someone had asked me how I got involved with that documentary, 42nd Street Memories, and did I want to do it? How did I do it? Whatever. Well, like everything else, there's a backstory. The backstory was that I had basically put a down payment on this place where I am now in Ohio, and I was getting off the East Coast. I had had it. Um, One thing that happened was I was doing a show at the Pioneer Two Boots Theater because we were doing that Summer of Sleaze thing. And this filmmaker came in. I believe his name was Gary Keys. And he's with this guy, and I noticed the guy had the camera on, and this guy starts interviewing me and stuff like that. Then he goes, well, let's go down to 42nd Street. We can roam around there. And I'm like, back up the fucking train. Number one, I'm here hosting an event. Number two, you want me to walk down 42nd Street and point out shit where it used to be? I want to get paid. So they backed off on that. I made a deal. I would show up in gimmick for an hour for $110. $100 for me to put in my pocket, $10 for transportation because I have to take a bus over there. So I did that, and that was called 42nd Street River to River. And people asked me, how was it starring with Mickey Rourke and Michael Imperiale and all those other guys? I'm like, everybody's stuff was shot separately. So I never met those guys. It's sort of cool to be like on that whole little plane there, but never met those guys at all. So after that, a friend of mine, Eric Danville, and I were going to put on a one-woman show with Vanessa Del Rio called, I don't know what it was, Sex, Dope, and something or other at this nightclub in New York. And we had advertised this thing for like a month in advance. Tickets were only $10. And the night of the show, we had 14 paid and 14 comped. Of course, we did the show. It was a good show. I still have that somewhere. It's never been released. But that sort of convinced me that New York was dead for me. I mean, if you can't draw with Vanessa Del Rio in a venue for $10, what can you do? So that was sort of it. So anyway, I get a call from a guy named Callan Waddell. And I didn't know who this guy was. He asked me if I could come over and be interviewed for this documentary they're shooting about 42nd Street. And of course, the first thing out of my mouth was, how much you want to pay me? Well, we really can't, this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to do it then. Now, I didn't know that Calum was a published author, was really hip on the business, and really was well known. But I had not stumbled across anything he had did up until then. I think I might have stumbled across him. I think he did at Cinema Wasteland when I guess Ruggiero Diodato was there. I might have briefly met him at that point. I don't know, but I didn't remember the guy. So he persisted. So I'm like, you know something? Last shot, what the fuck? I'm getting out of here. So I took the bus over there. They were in a hotel in Midtown. Now, what should have taken me 20 minutes to walk to took me almost an hour because of the crowds, which just basically, made my decision even more, more that I wanted to get away from this whole thing. So I went in. I was in gimmick. They interviewed me. It was interesting. They were nice. They gave me a bottle of wine. I drank it on the way home, and I got sent a rough cut of this thing, and I look at this thing, and I'm like, wow, I'm in some really good company here. I mean, shit, Sam Sherman, Terry Levine, Tom Holland, Debbie Rochon, Frank Henenlotter, all these guys, all these people that, actually, distributed films, produced films, did stuff for 42nd Street. So I was in good company. Well, the thing was, nobody could find a home for this thing. So I called up, my partner at Alternative Cinema and said, I got this thing that this fella did, and I think it's really good, and I think it deserves to be seen. So I sent it over to him, and they said it was good, but they said one thing that I didn't realize. There's no ending to it. There's no wrap-up of what really happened to 42nd Street. And I'm thinking, I know I said something about that. I know I wrapped up with something about that. So this kind of bugged me, and I'm like, okay, this thing's never going to see the light of day. So I emailed Calum, and I said, do you have anybody that's going to take this? I said, I ran it by my guys, and it's like, I don't know, but I said, I really don't want to see this thing disappear. How about if I buy it? And he goes, no, I already made a deal. It's going to go as an extra on the piece's Blu-ray. So that's where it wound up. And little did I know that that little bit in there really exposed me to a lot of people who had never heard of me, have never seen what I did, and also sort of helped sales on my product too. So I was like, holy shit, man, this is really fucking good. And everybody who's seen it has loved it. I know it's been running on Tubi a lot and that type of thing. I mean, I have the. It's worth buying the Pieces Blu-ray, strictly to have a physical copy of that, and for some extras on the Pieces Blu-ray, like the Paul Smith interview and stuff. So definitely worth having. But I thank Calum profusely for that, and I thank Bob from Grindhouse Releasing for putting it out because I think the fans really enjoyed it. And like I said, it really did a lot, as far as boosting my career a little bit. So it's all good. And, like I said, the thing was, I really didn't want to do it at that point in time because I was just so fed up with everything, fed up with the convention scene, just fed up with life in general. I mean, after going through 9/11, the blackout, beating prostate cancer, but almost not beating it, and a bunch of other shit, I just wanted to get off the East Coast. And now I'm in Ohio. Now I want to get out of here. So nothing ever works out well. But anyway, I'm still thankful it happened. I'm glad I was involved. It was, like I said, there was a ton of great people involved in this thing. And if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a look, and it's definitely worth picking up the Pieces Blu-ray. So, again, my sincere thanks to Caleb and Bob for making it happen. And that's our show for today. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. And we will catch you on the flip side.